In a nearly 3-hour movie, 58 seconds of logos. Movie rips off Band of Brothers right out of the gate, and I am too big a Band of Brothers fan to just let that slide. Oh man, is that Korn? I'm gonna be so pumped if that's a field of, oh, is the music swelling to match my own excitement for Korn?
I guess I can't describe it. It was just constant.
I guess maybe we could figure that out just by looking at the movie. But thanks, documentary.
Be nice to that Miss Hanley. She's single.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Repopulating the Earth. Start pulling your weight, young man.
Okay, first of all, he has 2 kids already, asshole. Second of all, widowed grandpa suggests son should ignore looks and attraction as basic human sexual instincts and just make babies with the nearest teacher he can find. John Lithgow is playing basically another version of his Rise of the Planet of the Apes character, an ineffective grandfather only here to show us how fast time moves and how futile it all is.
Why did you and Mom name me after something that's bad?
You mean Murphy's Law? Well, that's only one use of why didn't he have this conversation with her at a younger age? Also, considering how Cooper will start driving this truck with the flat tire like it never happened, I have a terrible feeling this flat tire scene was created just so that Murph could get a lesson about why she's named Murph.
What about the flat tire?
Indeed. Jesus, that truck caught up to that drone so fast it could only be due to the power of editing. Unless you're telling me this particular drone wants to be followed. Truck with supposedly flat tire now drives like it never happened. Anyone else with me on this?
Mysteries of Interstellar. How a pickup truck can drive with a flat tire among densely planted corn stalks taller than it.
Yep, I thought so.
Dad? Dad!
Kid who insists on yelling dad instead of explicit instructions nearly Thelma and Louises his entire family. Long after they emergency stop to avoid following a drone off a cliff into a lake, the drone helpfully flies by again, almost as though it had not recently just been in front of them. Okay, so 222 915 and wait a minute, the one that says 5 actually has 6. I'm afraid this girl isn't gifted after all.
It's an old federal textbook. We've replaced them with the corrected versions.
Corrected.
Explaining how the Apollo missions were fake to bankrupt the Soviet Union.
The idiocracy starts here, and despite how ridiculous this woman sounds, it's not that far from the truth. What does Dr. Tyson have to say about this?
Mysteries of Interstellar. In this unreal future, they teach unscientific things in science class. Oh wait, that is real.
So we'll take opposite.
Then she'd have been the one sitting there listening to this instead of me, which would have been a good thing.
Damn, is Matthew McConaughey still playing Russ Cole in this movie? Does every line reading have to sound like his larynx is being dragged on the floor of a gravel library?
Now you should come take a look.
You should come take a look at this cliche.
Just don't think your bookshelf's trying to talk to you.
Foreshad irony. I'm pretty sure everyone involved with the operations of the New York Yankees would throw themselves off a bridge before they allowed their franchise to be a touring sports team like the Harlem Globetrotters. I also love how this society is dealing with dead crops, crashing drones, blight, and general desperation, but there's still an organized baseball league. Priorities for the win. Despite all the cracks in the barriers on all these windows, entire family feels safe enough in here to remove masks and goggles. Seems like if this kind of storm were possible, one would never leave their windows open, period. Luckily, during a period where massive dust storms are common, Murph forgot to close her window while they were out watching a baseball game and can see proof of the weird ghost anomaly. It's right about here where you start worrying this movie is science too.
Murph? Grandpa will be home in a while. Tell him I call him on the radio.
Without any verification that she heard this, Cooper leaves and drives off so that Murph can get away with going on the trip.
Make yourself useful.
I didn't want you to come on this trip because I didn't know what I'd find out here. But sure, tag along now that you tricked me so brilliantly. I don't possibly have time to drive you back home. This is something I need to do right now, despite the possible danger. 23 minutes in, and a movie called Interstellar has yet to give me even a tiny little bit of space. Restricted territory in a post-apocalyptic blight-ridden world? F it, I'm entitled. Futuristic security guards will be made from the obelisks of 2001. Also, no wonder we didn't see this thing in action. It would have been one of the most ridiculous things ever to see 1/6 of a Rubik's Cube tasing and threatening people.
I think I'll turn you into an overqualified vacuum cleaner.
No, you won't.
Look, you definitely didn't hear that, because even I barely heard that.
Hello, Cooper. Professor Brain.
I mean, Alfred? I mean, holy shit. This movie already showed me John Lithgow and now tosses Michael Caine at me like I'm gonna have any way to tell them apart moving forward.
Professor Brain.
Can I ask you why you look like Ridley Scott?
From an anomaly.
What sort of anomaly?
Whoa, without warning, sudden Wes Bentley. In fact, this whole scene is like that. Sudden Michael Caine, sudden William Devane, and sudden Wes Bentley, who totally f***s up the rhyme scheme.
We're not meant to save the world. We're meant to leave it.
Mysteries of Interstellar. Can't imagine a future where escaping Earth via wormhole is a better plan than just fixing Earth.
You're the best pilot we ever had.
Niobe is jealous how amazing this guy's piloting ability is.
We need a pilot.
Well, and thank goodness this awesome pilot just happened upon your facility right before the big mission. Also, how has NASA continued operating below radar for enough years to build all this shit, but not long enough to recruit and train their new modern pilots?
A wormhole's not a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Yeah, because after all, you need a wormhole-making machine in order for there to be wormholes. Duh.
They've put potentially habitable worlds right within our reach.
But why so far? If this group of Samaritans created a wormhole for us to use, why did they put it near Saturn? Also, doesn't such a wormhole possibly affect the gravity of the region? Did these 5-dimensional beings put some sort of anti-screws-things-up device on their wormhole?
And one system shows promise.
One, that's a bit of a long shot, isn't it?
One system with 3 potential worlds?
Well, Doctor, if one of you could have just led with that, then Cooper wouldn't be asking questions, now would he? 3.5 minutes of goodbye, daughtering. So wait, after all this time on the ground and being a farmer, he's just ready to go back into space immediately? Don't you need to get him into shape for that?
Everybody good? Plenty of slaves for my robot colony?
I gave him a humor setting so he'd fit in better with his unit.
Jesus, that's one advanced humor setting, where a robot can sarcastically threaten the entire crew with his witticisms. But who actually needs the robot to fit in anyway? Who's up in space thinking, damn, if only this robot could be sarcastic? Then I'd trust it.
What's your humor setting, Dars?
That's 100%.
Let's bring it on down to 75, please.
How does a computer calculate the amount of humor it can express in any given instant?
Hey, Tars, what's your honesty parameter?
90%.
90%.
Again, though, how does a computer decide when to use the 10% total f***ing liar portion of this parameter?
In Interstellar, the producers knew exactly how, why, and when you'd achieve 0G in space.
Damn, this scene is so 2001, I'm surprised there isn't text on screen stating space just outside Earth, homage to classic film 2001. I admit, watching them flip switches and doing important space duties can be fascinating. It's just that, damn, this movie is nearly 3 hours, and it took 45 minutes to even get to space. Can we just all agree that they're good astronauts who will do all the technical things that astronauts do and get moving already?
Dr. Brand and Edmonds, they close?
After asking one question about Dr. Edmonds earlier, with virtually no tells, Cooper has enough Sherlock Holmes in him to be able to figure out that Edmonds and Brand are lovers.
I asked Murph to say hi, but she's as stubborn as her old man.
Jesus, this girl holds a bigger grudge than that girl in that movie. I can't think of the title right now, but it was about this ghost that killed people with a grudge.
A wormhole in space like this.
Here, a genius NASA astronaut will explain the theory of wormholes to another genius NASA astronaut.
Planet is much closer to Gargantua than we thought.
Gargantua.
It's what we're calling them, the black hole.
This seems like total madness. Isn't this madness?
In Interstellar, they explore a planet near a black hole. Personally, I'd stay as far the hell away from black holes as I can.
Yep, Dr. Tyson's with us on this.
Landing there takes us dangerously close, and a black hole that big has a huge gravitational pull.
Mysteries of Interstellar. Stars vastly outnumber black holes. Why is the best Earth-like planet one that orbits a black hole?
Gravity on that planet will slow our clock compared to Earth's drastically.
Gravity slows time? I'm sorry, what kind of drugs did you smoke when you made this movie?
In Interstellar, and in the real universe, strong gravitational fields measurably slow passage of time relative to others.
Okay, we'll remove the sin, but do we have to be happy about it?
Every hour we spend on that planet will be 7 years back on Earth. That's relativity, folks.
Casual black hole relativity bull seems just casual enough to be super wrong.
In Interstellar, experienced Einstein's relativity of time as no other feature film has shown.
Well, okay.
A literal heart of darkness.
Hey man, just because dictionaries are recognizing the figurative definition of literal doesn't mean I am.
Those aren't mountains. They're waves.
Well, man, how can you tell that from here? Oh, I guess because this planet is revolving around some sort of black hole, it must have tidal waves the size of the Burj Khalifa, huh?
In Interstellar, you observe great tidal waves from great tidal forces of magnitude that orbiting a black hole might create.
Damn, foiled again.
Get your ass back to the Ranger now!
Someone outside the ship makes a decision that could prevent them from getting back on the ship in time cliché. I still think this is a cumbersome invention. How does this thing generate the kind of force it needs to move in this manner? I don't see anything that can propel this machine's feet to walk, much less in water. This is the slowest wave ever. It's almost like it knows the protagonists need extra time.
Cooper?
Wait a goddamn minute. I'm sure you just said...
Pace almost down! 45 to an hour.
Now, I'm not sure if you guys were talking about the next wave or how long until the ship could fly, but regardless, 4 minutes of dialogue with Anne Hathaway doesn't explain this 45 to an hour in any way. Oh yeah, Wes Bentley's character I barely cared about died. I'll make a note of that for future sorrow.
23 years, 4 months, 8 days.
Wait, so all that stuff we saw on the ocean planet took over 3 hours? How did this 20-minute adventure last 3 goddamn hours?
We've got years of messages stored.
I get that we like to make fun of the crying in this scene, but damn. Imagine watching your young children grow up over a handful of Skype chats, but one way, where you can't say anything. So this shot of McConaughey catching up after 23 years is just downright awesome and heartbreaking, so we'll knock a sin off for that.
We must confront the reality of interstellar travel.
Roll credits.
Love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space.
Movie drops the power of love bomb on us. Apparently the universe is an actor, able to operate only once someone tells it its motivation. Sure, the universe says, anything is possible if you're in love. Here are the secrets to time travel. Also, strong female character with amazing scientific background decides Edna's planet is the best because love. And who are you to say she's wrong?
Next year I'm gonna work Nelson's farm and I'll make it up.
What happened to Nelson?
Nelson died walk. How does running into basically what amounts to a wall of ice not do anything to your spacecraft? And this was a planet candidate? Dr. Tyson?
Mysteries of Interstellar. Gotta tell you, Mars, right next door, looks way safer than those new planets they traveled to.
Just what I was thinking. Damn. Movie expects me to believe three-legged metal robot is somehow going to climb this icy-ass steep hill. That's another thing. If these machines like TARS and Case are so adept at walking around, observing, collecting data, everything that humans do, why did they even send humans to do this job? Yeah, they explain it later.
A machine doesn't improvise well because you can't program a fear of death.
But that's total nonsense. So here's a guy named Dr. Man, and all that implies. Two Matts on screen and they don't even make out. What a ripoff.
You have literally raised me from the dead.
Lazarus.
Hey, did you guys hear that? Something just beat me over the head. I can't figure out what it was, but I am woozy.
But with oxygen and limited supply, Kip there really did most of the legwork.
Kip? What kind of a stupid name is that? Somebody's kid got their name in the movie, I bet.
In Interstellar, there's a robot named Kip. One of the executive producers, a physicist, is named Kip. I'm just saying.
Oh, damn. I take that back.
Dr. Brand, I'm sorry to tell you that your father died today.
So they're letting her receive this message right now in front of everybody? I thought they usually had a time for that when they went back to the ship. But I get the sneaking suspicion she's allowed to hear her message because it has some sort of plot-related information and is more dramatic that way.
If a black hole is an oyster, then the singularity is the pearl inside.
Oh.
The equation couldn't reconcile relativity with quantum mechanics. You need more.
Like more dialogue, so that you don't sound like a vague bastard.
Gargantua is an older spinning black hole. It's what we call a gentle singularity.
Gentle.
They're hardly gentle. But the tidal gravity is so quick that...
This is why many were torn watching this movie. It works hard to give some scientific basis for the actions taking place, and even painstakingly tries to make it simpler for the common folk to understand. But the problem is, you're probably not smart enough to follow along in every instance. You just have to kind of hang on and take some leaps to understand a lot of this stuff. I mean, points for trying to be scientific and smart, but damn, this is hard to follow sometimes.
In Interstellar, if you don't understand the physics, try Kip Thorne's highly readable book, The Science of Interstellar.
You know, we have a motto here, that the books don't matter, but who are we to argue with Neil deGrasse Tyson?
I've already told him what to look for.
But how do you know what to look for? By your own admission, everything beyond the horizon is a complete mystery. Could very well not even fit our own standards of measurable data, but you know what to tell a machine to look for in a black hole.
You know why we couldn't just send machines on these missions, don't you, Cooper?
I'm guessing someone on the set probably asked the same question. They called that person an idiot, fired him or her, and blacklisted them. But the question loomed over the set for 3 days before the writers said, "Damn it, they're right. Let's write some bullshit to explain this." That person is still blacklisted, though. Also, you can program a world-class sense of humor into these things, but not the fear of death. For some reason, the movie now decides to cut back and forth between Matt versus Matt and Casey versus Topher. I guess so the movie can have some sort of Magnolia moment where all the goes down in this family at once, no matter where they are in time and space. Am I sinning parallels? Yeah, I'm sinning parallels, I guess. Matt Damon turns out to be evil, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, no, I'm totally okay with that. Although, if you want your sudden obvious bad guy to be less obvious, maybe don't cast an A-lister like this. Maybe make it like Liev Schreiber or something. Casey Affleck is a dick to his sister's really smart maybe boyfriend.
In Interstellar, on another planet around another star in another part of the galaxy, two guys get into a fistfight. Mysteries of Interstellar. If you can crack your space helmet yet keep fighting, the planet's air can't be all that bad for you.
You're feeling it, aren't you?
Say, how come Anne Hathaway and the other dude can't hear these comms? How does it take this long for these two to fly to the spot that Man and Cooper walked to a little bit ago?
Doesn't know the endurance docking procedure.
Well, the autopilot does.
Not since TARS disabled it.
What's your trust setting, TARS?
Lower than yours, apparently.
Haha, funny joke for sure, but earlier TARS said this.
You try to remember that as a robot, I have to do anything you say.
So how does this robot act alone when it comes to disabling autopilots and not telling anybody about it? Why didn't he tell Cooper, I don't trust Man because X, Y, and Z, instead of keeping it to himself? So they can disable auto-docking, but they can't disable his ability to video game dock.
If you open the hatch, the airlock will depressurize.
Something Dr. Man would know, were he the super scientist astronaut this movie has made him out to be. But whatever, heroes gotta win, yo.
What happens if he blows the airlock?
Nothing good.
Thanks for a helpful and precise answer.
Relay my transmission to the onboard computer and have it rebroadcast as emergency PA.
Jesus, why didn't you think of that before? Seems like an obvious thought if you can't communicate with someone.
Do not open the inner hatch.
And the message continues to be, don't open the inner hatch. Instead of, you're going to die if you open the hatch like this, here's why.
I repeat, do not.
Brand?
So Man turns the radio back on and starts talking to Dr. Brand, not letting her get a word in edgewise. However, she can still use the emergency PA to transport the important information uninterrupted, right?
Cooper, what are you doing?
Docking.
And I have no time to tell you how that's possible, woman. Gotta admit though, matching the spin of the Endurance in order to dock it is a pretty amazing scene. Take it from here, Dr. Tyson.
In Interstellar, they reprise the matched rotation docking maneuver from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but they spin 100 times faster. In Interstellar, experience Einstein's curvature of space, as no other feature film has shown.
Once we've gathered enough speed around Gargantua, we use Lander 1 and Ranger 2 as rocket boosters to push us out of the black hole's gravity.
Excuse me, you're gonna what to push you out of the what's what now? I didn't hear what you said, but it sounds impossible.
Cooper, what are you doing?
Hero sacrifices himself to save the world cliché, even if the world is only one person in his current reality. Having trouble understanding the dialogue? That's an intentional choice by the director to crank up the soundtrack and confuse you. But still, would be kind of nice to hear even 20% more dialogue than we can hear, because this is kind of like a space NASCAR funeral dirge here. Look, I realize we don't truly know what happens to a human in a spaceship that enters a black hole, but isn't it reasonable with the scientific knowledge we have today to assume that this guy is vapor? According to this movie, it's theoretically possible to fly into a black hole, eject, and then end up inside your daughter's childhood bookshelf. Now, my question is, if he can punch the books out of the bookcase, why can't he do other things? Later, we see him manipulate a watch inside her room. So, Dr. Tyson?
Mysteries of Interstellar. If you can poke through a tesseract and touch books, why not just write a note and pass that through?
Yeah, why not?
We don't have time for this, come on!
Here's another point in the movie where you realize a whole bunch of fat could have been cut from the script. The rift between Murph and Tom happens pretty much out of nowhere, and then she has to burn the cornfield in order to get back into the house to study the bookcase. It's dramatic, I grant you, but pretty unnecessary. It was like the whole conflict was created just to add dramatic weight and lots of time to a movie that didn't need it.
Let me leave, Murph!
Cooper is apparently unaware of the events of this movie.
Cooper? Come in, Cooper.
Apparently, in the middle of some sort of three-dimensional representation of this five-dimensional world, TARS can still communicate via radio to Cooper from bum Egypt to somewhere Somethingsville.
I don't know, but they constructed this three-dimensional space inside their five-dimensional reality to allow you to understand it.
Hell, that ain't working.
You can say that again.
In Interstellar, if you didn't understand the plot, there is no published book to help you.
Still seems like a sin. That's a sin, right?
There's such complicated data to a child.
Not just any child.
In Interstellar, of the leading characters, all of whom are scientists or engineers, half are women. Just an FYI.
That's why I'm here. I'm gonna find a way to tell Murph, just like I found this moment.
How, Cooper?
The love, Tars, love.
Also, the physical manipulation of Tesseract strings. Let's not forget that. Okay, wait a minute. I can see how Cooper is making the second hand on this watch speak in Morse code, but how is he able to reach inside the glass of the watch? And how does he ensure the watch continues to deliver the message once he's done with it? Whoa, Cooper woke up on Elysium.
Brand.
Because after all, I know exactly the kind of relationship you guys had, and you should get married because you're both single and attractive.
Alone in a strange galaxy.
And luckily, her long-lost love is totally dead. In the future, while orbiting Saturn, spaceship security is of zero concern.
Maximilian, help me! Help me!
We'd like to take a moment here for a special thank you to our friend Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson for once again helping us find sins and the wins in a popular science fiction film. The honor was all ours.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
It's important to note that we're a couple of jackass comedians. And that could be fun, but there are people all over YouTube entertaining while actually educating and talking about important stuff. And Dr. Tyson is one such individual by way of his Star Talk channel. Do you like science? Do you like space? You should be subscribed to Star Talk. They do great, engaging stuff like this.
After I saw the movie Interstellar, I had a barrage of tweets.
Yep.
Commenting on them, highlighting the physics of it, this sort of thing. So here's one. Mysteries of Interstellar. Can't imagine a future where escaping Earth via a wormhole is a better plan than just fixing Earth.
Well, this is what made it literally incredible for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, I never, as we say in comedy, if you buy the premise, you buy the bit. Okay. I didn't buy the premise.
The premise.
I mean, I know people love the Interstellar. I know people that saw it twice.
Wait. You agree that we could have blight on the crops. But my issue was not that there wouldn't be blight, but that why is it easier to launch a spaceship through a wormhole
and go live on a moon of Saturn?
You can check out more of that video below, or just click and subscribe right now to show Dr. Tyson how much you appreciate his pitching in for one of our Sins videos. Or, any of his actually important contributions to society. Just go subscribe. No signature required.
Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
Thank you again, good sir. We had a blast getting corrected and clarified by you. We kind of heart you.
You are
awesome.
And now for the outtakes.
If you build it, you will come.
It's just that I've never seen you in here before.
I'm gonna smoke everybody involved in this up, and then I'm gonna kill Bin Laden.
Black holes aren't the mythic cosmic vacuum cleaners of science fiction.
I'm gonna find a way to tell Murph, just like I found this moment.
How, Cooper?
To love Tar's love.
I don't think that man can love.
You have part of my attention. You have the minimum amount. The rest of my attention is back at the offices of Facebook, where my colleagues and I are doing things that no one in this room, including and especially your clients, are intellectually or creatively capable of doing.
No. The chimp's still doing all the work. I got something to tell you. When you gonna make that kind of commitment?
Do you know how easy this is for me? Do you have any f***ing idea how easy this is? This is a f***ing joke.
I'm in another wormhole now!
I've been to Tokyo. They sell little girl underwear in the vending machines right on the main drag, the Ginza or whatever. Guys in suits buying used girl panties. How is that okay? That's not okay.
Matt Damon.
Remember the last time you took a direct flight to Pluto? It was like a good 20-hour flight, and all outer American Airlines served you were honey-roasted peanuts. Now you're tired of bland snacks that don't satisfy your intergalactic hunger. Luckily, this no longer has to be your reality. NatureBox can ship amazing-tasting, personalized snacks right to your door. Everyone snacks, all day, every day, so let your desires go interstellar and snack smart with NatureBox. NatureBox has the most delicious snacks in the universe that will change the way you snack. It's as simple as that. From my personal favorites like chocolate banana chips and jalapeno white cheddar popcorn, NatureBox has over 100 ridiculously delicious snacks to choose from that get delivered directly to your doorstep. And there's zero chance of getting bored because they release brand new choices every single month. NatureBox is full of flavor, but without any of the junk. Just fun, flavorful snacks made with ingredients that you can trust. Even better, they've got a smart snack guarantee. So if there's ever anything you don't love, let the helpful folks at NatureBox know and they'll replace it in your next box. Easy and satisfying. So head to naturebox.com/CinemaSins now and take your snack life to the next dimension. Again, that's naturebox.com/CinemaSins.